Shout out to Money Brown, man. Respect Junior. My boy Money Brown, he get a lot of money, that's why I call him Money Brown.
What's good, Money Brown TV? What up, what up?
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Money Brown TV. Thank you so much for everything.
Hey, this is Ryan Garcia here. Shout out to Money Brown TV. And keep punching, baby.
Yo, what's going on out there, fight world? This your boy Money back with another one, man. And this one here is on the 4th-division world champion and current WBC and Super WBA 168-pound world champ, Canelo Alvarez, and the 3-division world champion and current WBO welterweight world champion, Terrance Bud Crawford. Now, Canelo Alvarez has been, criticized by Bud by saying that he has been ducking and maneuvering around the top black fighters. You know what I mean? He said he's been moving around Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade, which is his toughest task. And he seemed like he wants no smoke with them boys. No smoke at all with them boys because they are, they're going to give him problems. He had problems with those kind of fighters, right? And it's true. Canelo is known for having problems with slick boxer type fighters, right? But nonetheless, besides Floyd Money Mayweather, he always figured it out and came out victorious. So you got to get a man credit on that. I like the way Canelo adapt, you know what I mean? I thought he beat Laura, you know what I mean? So I thought he beat Triple G twice. So I give Canelo full credit. I give him full credit, even though I think Jamal Charlo and Andrade do give him problems, and both of them in their own way, right? In their own way. And Canelo was at 160 and could have became a middleweight champ down there. So Bud do have some validity to what he's saying. You know what I mean? He do have some validity to what he's saying. Now, people coming out criticizing Bud Crawford, you know what I mean? Like a few Mexican channels out there, they criticizing him saying, who are you to speak about Canelo and that kind of like, what have you done, yada, 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 right? But he do have some validity to what he's saying. Whether you feel like it's because it's him saying it, because, people look at him and talk about his resume and his last top black fighter, things of that nature, right? And I'm going to get into that. But at the end of the day, he was being interviewed and he was asked a question, and he is allowed to answer that question the way he want to answer that question. You know what I mean? That is his opinion. We all know Bud Crawford and Canelo is two of the top fighters that linger up at the top of the pound-for-pound list. So this situation here, it could come from, a part of, I feel like I'm better than Canelo Alvarez. I feel like I'm better than Canelo Alvarez. You understand what I'm saying? I'm the #1 pound-for-pound fighter. And Canelo right here letting them know, like, you know what? I'm the #1 pound-for-pound fighter, right? So people got their picks. A lot of people say they keep Canelo off their pound-for-pound list because he got busted for doing what he did, right? But at the end of the day, I got to give him credit, and I can't hold that against him for his entire career. Because after he got busted, he came back and beat Triple G. The man that he took a brutal roll against, right, in the first fight, he came back and beat him in the second fight and looked damn good. Looked damn good. You understand me? Looked damn good. Viva la Mexico! You around this mother, But nonetheless, right, he haven't took on Jamal Charlo and Andrade. And that's what Terrance Bud Crawford was saying, bro. Right? That's what he was saying. So what he said wasn't no bullshit. It didn't seem like it came from a hateful place or a despiteful place. But it comes down to people want to see the best versus the best. People want to see the best versus the best. And people know that Canelo Alvarez going up against Andrade or Jamal Charlo was the best fight at 160 pounds, where he could have been an undisputed champion, right? He could have been an undisputed champion. The same thing that he's doing at 168. And, that's why I say you can't get pissed off at Bud for saying it. You can't get pissed off at him for saying it. But people, like I say, people are going to look at him and say, okay, well, what gives you the right to talk? When you have Earl Spence right there that you haven't fought. You have Sean Porter that you haven't fought. You have Keith Thurman that you haven't fought. You know what I mean? And Bud can respond back, well, my promoter is not trying to put them in the ring with me, and they're not trying to pay me. He's not trying to pay them the money that they're asking for so I can get that elite black fighter, right? But you got Porter on your ass right now. Porter on your ass right now, Bud, and you need to figure out a way to make that fight happen, to make it happen. But I'm not finna just throw salt and criticize Terrance Bud Crawford for saying those things, bro. I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Right? Now, the people that's getting on his ass, get on his ass. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. But that was my concern to Terrance Bud Crawford. Be mindful of what you say and how you say it, right? Because Canelo have a fan base as well, and they're going to shoot back, which I know Bud don't give a damn about what nobody think of him. They can shoot back. They can say what he want. His opinion is his opinion. His words is his words, and you got to respect it. Just like if Canelo would have came out and said, you know what, Bud, you know, you're not on my level. You're not on my level, and until you get on my level, continue to admire me. Continue to admire me. If Canelo would have said that out of his mouth, I wouldn't be pissed off at him. I wouldn't be pissed off at him, right? Because Canelo, you know, he's on a level where he's getting people their highest paydays. Canelo is one of the biggest superstars in boxing. Arguably could still be the biggest superstar in boxing, right? I have it Earl Spence. Some people might have it Wilder. You know, some people might have it Tank. You know, some people got their own picks. But Canelo, no doubt, is one of the biggest stars in boxing, hands down, like 630. You know, fit a fight at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas against Billy Joe Saunders in a unification bout, right? And then he'd be one more step to undisputed if he can get past Billy Joe. But Canelo looking at Bud like, guess what, homie? I fought the man that you look up to in Floyd Money Mayweather. I fought the man that you want to be, right? I fought a slick motherfucker in Laura whose style was difficult for anybody back in the times when I fought him. You understand what I'm saying? He was undefeated. They robbed him in the Paul Williams fight. But he was on his shit, and Laura was a bad boy. Right? Training the Cholos. Cholos didn't want to fight him back then in my opinion. I feel like they felt like it was big brother, little brother. But Laura was a bad boy, man. And Canelo got him. You know, I fought Austin Trout, who beat Miguel Cotto. And I went up there and beat Austin Trout. Dropped him, gave him the motherfucking baby calf legs. You understand what I'm saying? I beat Danny Jacobs. You know what I mean? A solid 160-pounder. I ain't know anybody beating Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs is a solid win. You feel me? I beat Danny Jacobs. I knocked Kirk, can't even get my boy name. You know who Ann Wolf trained. I'm sorry, my brother. I knocked his ass out cold. Kirk, I would call him man Kirk Franklin. You feel me? But I knocked him out cold. You understand me? Cold. So, I face more black fighters than you. You feel me? So Canelo can step up and say, get on my level. I was born already. You understand me? And Canelo can speak English too. His ass better start speaking English. Seriously. But nonetheless, right? And Bud gonna have to accept that. We can't get pissed off at that. Right? Because people be like, oh, ain't that the kettle calling the pot black? Or ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? Whichever way it go. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Right? You feel me? So, I'm not pissed off at Terrance Bud Crawford because he said what he said and it was true. I won't be pissed off at Canelo if he shoot back and say, get on my level, young man. Well, old man, because you're older than me. Get on my level, old man. Right? Because I'm going into the Hall of Fame as well. And, you know, you ain't making nowhere near as the money I'm making. I got my whole country behind me. And those are facts. And you got to respect Canelo for that. You got to respect him. But there's also facts that we wanted to see you fight Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. Even though you're at 168 right now, right? We still want to see those fights with Andrade and Charlo because those boys will be at 168 in a minute as well, in my opinion. Right now, they can face each other at 160 and come up, or they face Benavidez and put themselves in position for Canelo Alvarez. But Canelo is right there. If you become undisputed, Canelo, don't vacate them titles. Don't go up. Either go down or stay where you at. Either go back to 160 or stay where you at. And you said out your own mouth that you have to fight Jamal Charlo. Those are your words, Canelo. And I'm going to hold you to it, my brother. I'm going to hold you to it. You feel me? But nonetheless, Terrance Crawford has the right to say what he said. He has the right to say what he said. He's a fighter, right? He's a fighter. Fighters are fans of the sport. You know, even though they're a part of the sport, they are the sport, they're also fans of the sport. And they're also watching everything. Especially when y'all two, you know, is at the top of that pound-for-pound list. You know, skill-wise, both of y'all, you know, are two skillful bad motherfuckers. Leave it up to Shakur. You know, is 1A and 1B. You know what I'm saying? You got Crawford first and Canelo second, right? We know Erg Morales came out and said he felt like Crawford and Earl Spence is better than Canelo Alvarez. So now the Mexicans, not just the Mexican, but the Latino community is pissed off at Erg Morales, and the Latino community is pissed off at Terrance Crawford. You feel me? But this what happens in this sport of boxing when it's very competitive like this. This what happens. You feel me? Emotions get to flowing. People get to talking. Fans get to going at each other. Narratives get to getting pushed. People showing their true colors. You understand me? People showing their true colors. And the facts are going to still remain. You know, Canelo is not fighting the elite black fighters. The facts are going to remain. The truth don't need no support. The truth don't need no support. But the facts also remain. Terrance Crawford is not fighting the elite black fighters. The truth don't need no support. The truth don't need no support. So y'all kind of in the same boat at this moment. At this moment. You know what I mean? I think Canelo's last black fighter was Danny Jacobs. Who knows how many fights that was ago? But I think Bud like 8 fights from his last black fight, something like that. But nonetheless, Bud, you need to fight Errol Spence and Sean Porter. Canelo, you need to fight Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo. And let's see where history put you guys. Because if Canelo gonna be undisputed, if he get the undisputed and he beat Demetrius Andrade and Charlo, it's nothing nobody can say. No hater, no naysayer, whether you like him, you love him, you're going to have to credit that man and crown that man one of the greatest fighters in this era. If Terrance Crawford can beat Sean Porter and Errol Spence, it's nothing nobody can say. Not a hater, not a naysayer. You're going to have to crown that man as one of the greatest fighters of his era. And that is a fact. That is a fact. You know, both of them still in their prime. Both of them still bad motherfuckers. And we'll see how their career ends. But they need to fight them boys. Bud Crawford not wrong for saying what he's saying. But look in the mirror, Bud. Look in the mirror, right? I can't get pissed off at these people for pointing the finger at you and saying what they saying. So get on your shit. Quit worrying about Canelo and Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. Fight Sean Porter. Fight Errol Spence. Write your legacy. So when you go into the Hall of Fame, you will be considered one of the greats. Worry about your destiny, my brother. Until then, this your boy Money. This the NSBC moving. Ain't nobody safe in these streets. Hit them thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to donate. OG Money on Cash App. TreyHampton52@gmail.com on PayPal. If you can't, just tell a friend. Hit the subscribe button. Like, comment, share the video. And y'all know how your boy get down. Big dog status.